Now, the appointment of the new board and management of the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, by President Bola Tinubu has continued to spark controversy in some quarters, especially in Cross River State, where the All Progressives Congress kept on kicking vehemently against the appointment of an alleged card-carrying member of the People's Democratic Party, Asi Okang, as the commissioner representing the state on the board of NDDC, until we had the president coming to talk about this issue itself and then changing the situation by bringing in a new nominee just on Friday. And of course, this has continued to raise the issues by the All Progressives Congress in Cross River State, who says that the position of National Women Leader of the APC was taken from it and given to Edo State. And of course, that needs to be returned back to Cross River State after Betta Edu was holding that position previously. And then, of course, if there should be someone to fill up that position, it should definitely go back to Cross River State. And of course, the president has listened and, of course, sent in another name to represent Cross River on the board of the NDDC. And of course, not only that of Cross River, even Ondo State. And of course, we'll be taking a look at these issues now. Well, joining us in the studio to take a look at this issue is someone who has a passion for the people of Cross River State, and of course, he's one of the political leaders there. Obong-Obla is someone who has been a former presidential aide, and of course, he's been canvassing for the people of Cross River State in the All Progressives Congress. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, talk to us about some of the issues that we've seen that led to President Tinubu eventually listening to the Cross River State APC and eventually sending in a fresh nomination, just like Ondo people too also had one for them.
Well, we were flabbergasted and surprised, when we saw the name of Asu Okang, who is a member of the PDP. As a matter of fact, Asu Okang was the commissioner for youth, and information in the government of Ben Ayade. But when Ben Ayade defected to APC, he refused to go along with him as his leader, who appointed him. I expected that as a good follower, he should have followed Ben Ayade to APC. He didn't do that. And then the role he played the last election, he comes from a local government area in the Central Senatorial District of Cross River State, known as Itung. And that is where the governorship candidate of PDP, also is from, Senator Sandy Ono. Yeah. And he was like of the extreme school of political thought. Allegedly, he did a lot of activities that are inimical to democracy, that were injurious to members of the APC. Members of the APC in the Itung local government area of Cross River State were harassed. They were intimidated. They were brutalized. I'm not just talking because I want to talk. After the elections, the state chairman appointed me as a sole commissioner that there were a lot of complaints of our members being brutalized during the presidential, National Assembly election, governorship election. It became worse in the governorship election because the governorship candidate of PDP, as I mentioned before, comes from the Itung local government area. Some of our members were deported. They were deported. They were driven away from their community. In Sofang is a village in the Itung local government area of Cross River State, and that is the village where the governorship candidate of PDP comes from. Our members were expelled. The expulsion started even before the governorship election.
So the question is, sorry if I may interject there, how did Asu Okang's name
the role he played
into
I told you, I investigated. I don't know, but we suspect that it must have come from the camp of the former governor of River State, His Excellency Wike. Cross River State is in the south-south region of Nigeria. And Cross River State, Bayelsa, Akwa Ibom State, they used to be part of the eastern Nigeria. Okay? So, the former governor is trying to exert, a lot of political influence in that area. And I know as a fact that the governorship candidate, PDP governorship candidate, was virtually sponsored by Governor Wike.
So, well, the allegations have always been on, because I remember when there was that issue of the senatorial district that was controversial. That time, the fingers were still being pointed on Nyesom Wike having some influence and all of that. Well, Nyesom Wike is now in the government of President Tinubu, though he hasn't left PDP, according to him. Shouldn't your governor had some, sort of influence over this list?
That is why we were surprised. I think there's a calculated attempt to undermine the governor of Cross River State, Senator Basi Edet Otu, who incidentally is the only APC governor in the South-South geopolitical zone. And I can say that since 1999, nobody has won, nobody has come into power through an opposition political party. So, since 1999, Cross River State
in Cross River,
broken
it has always
rank.
Been PDP.
Yes. The zone is PDP, solid PDP. The South-South geopolitical zone. So, some people are not happy, and they are trying to undermine the governor, and then reduce the governor to a political weakling. Give the impression, that the governor is not up to his game. The governor was not consulted. And I begin to imagine why was the governor, the only governor, APC governor in the South-South, was not consulted. As a matter of fact, conventionally, Governor Basi Otu is supposed to be the leader of APC in the South-South geopolitical zone. He is supposed to be the,
You think someone has taken that leadership from him?
Well, maybe some people are trying to take over that leadership or trying to undermine him to give the impression, as I said before, that he's not capable. But it is a very capable man, a very experienced person. He was a banker from banking. He was a member of the House of Representatives for 8 years, and then he was a senator.
Yeah, but what if he's not playing the Abuja politics too?
Well, I don't know.
If he has left Abuja politics to those who are in Abuja.
I don't know what you mean by Abuja politics.
Yeah, I mean federal politics.
That means there's no synergy.
Bargain.
There's no synergy in the party, and that is my worry. Within the APC, there's no synergy. If there's a synergy, the party should be the clearing house for appointments at the center. So therefore, the governor, being the head of the party in Cross River State or in the South-South geopolitical zone, should be consulted. Even if he's not going to, even if his recommendation is not going to work, but he should be consulted as a matter of respect to show that the party is united, there's cohesion in the party. But we are not seeing that, so, and that is my worry.
Now let's talk about the position of the national women leader of the party, of the APC. That's also another controversial issue that we've seen APC supporters in Cross River saying that, look, something just needs to be going wrong. How could that position have been taken from us through Betta Edu, that was made Minister of Humanitarian Affairs? We had expected that this position will come back to us, only for us to see someone from Edo State being nominated.
Yes.
What exactly is
Before
going on?
Before we go into that, let me just conclude on the first question you asked. Why we oppose that nomination of Asu Okang is not only that he's a member of PDP. We want inclusivity in government. That's one of the ingredients of democracy. The society is diverse, made up of different people of different political persuasions. So if you want to form a government, you don't concentrate on only members of the party that was victorious in the election. Though we are operating a federal presidential constitution. In the presidential constitution, that is not supposed to be the case. Okay, it is only in a parliamentary system where if all the parties can be invited to form a coalition government to run the government. But this is a presidential system. It's winner take all.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
So let's come back to that issue.
Yes. The man is not from an oil producing area of Cross River State. That is one of the the second objection. The oil producing area of Cross River State is Bakassi, Otupani, Akpabio, in the southern senatorial district of Cross River State. And if you look at the law clearly says the representative or the chairman of the commission must come from an oil producing area, not state. So if that...
Well, President Tinubu has already answered that by changing,
by
bringing someone else.
Yes.
At least you are happy
exactly,
with that.
We are happy. The man that has been nominated is an experienced person, Right Honorable Orok Duke. He was a deputy speaker of Cross River State Assembly. He was also a commissioner for information. He's also a member of, he was a delegate to the National Commissioner Conference. So he's an experienced parliamentarian, and he's from the southern part of Cross River State.
Yeah,
so
but very quickly,
and a party man, a party man. So we're happy.
The APC National Women Leader issue.
Leader.
What are you doing about that?
That is all the anomalies we are seeing in the party. Because you remember, we went into a convention in 2022. And before the convention, there was like an agreement among the governors and the caretaker committee that was in office that the position of National Women Leader should be zoned to Cross River State. And, you know, the incumbent, the holder, was appointed into the Federal Executive Committee, Council. So she has to leave. So we expect that by the APC constitution, the replacement has to come from Cross River State. Okay, so we are surprised after, you know, a move was made to replace Dr. Betty Edu. Then we saw that the position has been taken away from Cross River State to Edo State. I think that is also calculated to undermine our governor, who is the only governor under the platform, the canopy of APC, you know, in the south
well, I think people will say that your governor needs to play the politics of APC better.
Well, so the governor, as I said, he is experienced.
Very quickly,
he's experienced, but he is not in charge of the party. Okay, so maybe the party machinery is not working very well. As I said, there's no synergy between the party and the various stakeholders. So that is the area we have to look at. You don't have to blame the governor who stays in Calabar to govern the state.
He has to play the politics of Abuja better. Obong-Obla is a former presidential aide, and of course he has been talking to us about the politics of Cross River State, and of course the NDDC appointment, which President Tinubu has now listened to and provided an alternative to suit the feelings of the APC members in that state. And that's how it's been on this edition of This Week. We must thank you so much for joining us on the program to help us understand the issues in your state, and we hope to have more of you here.
Thank you,
and of course, we thank you for helping us to understand these issues, and for you viewers who have been with us, we thank you so much. That's how it's been on this edition of This Week. I'm Samna Sambo. See you next time.